Spear regains consciousness aboard a boat, his wounds miraculously healed. He observes Mira tending to Fang's injuries, and as she rushes over to him and makes contact, a surge of energy passes between them. Returning to Fang's side, Mira removes the arrows lodged in her body while providing treatment. Later, both Spear and Fang awaken, their eyes fixated on the fog as the ship of the chieftain and elder materializes. The ship forcefully collides with Spear's vessel, and the chieftain leaps onto their deck. Despite Fang's attempt to attack him, Eldar shoots at her, impeding her progress. Spear engages in combat with the chieftain, but the adversary's armor proves impenetrable to Spear's attacks. Meanwhile, Fang and Mira confront Eldar, who continuously fires arrows at them. Fang manages to strike Eldar, knocking him off his perch, but he skillfully saves himself and lands safely on the ground. Spear delivers a powerful kick to the chieftain, causing his helmet to fall off. The chieftain witnesses Fang's assault on Eldar and swiftly intervenes to rescue him. However, the ships collide with rocks, causing Fang to throw Eldar overboard. The chieftain leaps into the water to save his son, while Mira skillfully navigates the boat to safety. Attempting to secure the ship to a tree, Mira seeks assistance from Fang and Spear. Suddenly, Fang darts into the woods, prompting them to follow her. They observe Fang gathering leaves and arranging them on the ground, and Spear realizes her intent to lay eggs. Overwhelmed with joy, he celebrates and aids Fang in setting up her nest. The chieftain tends to his son's injuries after rescuing him from the water. That night, while gazing into a fire, he witnesses the manifestation of a demonic entity. Startled from his sleep, he witnesses Eldar's emergence with an animal. Standing beside a stream, they hear the piercing cries of birds, which sparks an idea in the chieftain's mind. Meanwhile, Fang moves around her nest and proceeds to lay 3 eggs, observed by Spear and Mira. Spear attempts to touch the eggs, but Fang prevents him from doing so. On a separate path, the chieftain and Eldar climb a cliff, and large birds soar around them. Eldar leaps onto the bird's back, while the chieftain ascends the cliff. Skillfully, cures a rope around the bird's neck, working in tandem with his son to tame the magnificent creature. Meanwhile, Spear diligently catches fish to feed Fang, while Mira sets about repairing the ship. Suddenly, Eldar and the chieftain swoop down on their own birds, launching a fierce attack. Fang valiantly shields her eggs from the bird assault, but one of them seizes Mira, lifting her into the air. Eldar attempts to release her, yet Mira clings to a rope for dear life. In a decisive moment, Eldar severs the rope, causing Mira to plummet downwards. However, Spear skillfully catches her, preventing any harm from befalling her. Spear and Mira find themselves locked in an intense battle against the chieftain. In a moment of triumph, they successfully hurl him off the bird, sending him hurtling through the dense woods. Miraculously, the chieftain survives the fall and regains his footing. Observing the turn of events, the chieftain witnesses Spear delivering a powerful kick to Eldar, causing him to collide with a rock, resulting in his demise. Overwhelmed by grief, the chieftain allows the current of the water to carry him away as he mourns the loss of his son. Meanwhile, Spear and Mira joyfully reunite with Fang, sharing a heartfelt embrace. As for the chieftain, resigned to his fate, he rests upon a rock, prepared to embrace his own impending death. Unexpectedly, women descend from the sky, attempting to transport the chieftain upward. However, strange demonic creatures seize him, dragging him to the ground. The chieftain finds himself in the underworld, proceeding through a door. He comes face to face with the demonic entity from his dream and strikes a deal, exchanging his soul for power. Meanwhile, Spear sits on the beach, and Mira appears visibly annoyed. She packs food onto the ship, indicating her desire to depart. Spear creates a nest on the boat, and he and Mira devise a plan to convince Fang to join them. They cleverly separate her eggs, making Fang realize they have prepared a nest for her on the boat. She places her eggs on board, climbs aboard herself, and they set sail. As they sail, they spot a peculiar ship in the distance, accompanied by smaller vessels rapidly approaching them. Egyptian soldiers emerge from the ship, launching an attack. Mira and Spear engage in combat, defending themselves while Fang protects her eggs. A colossal African man named Kamau emerges from the chaos and forcefully incapacitates Spear, rendering him unconscious. Fang, desperate to protect her eggs, attempts to fight Kamau, but he swiftly incapacitates her, causing one of the eggs to break. Fueled by anger, She engages in a fierce battle against Kamau, with Spear and Mira joining in the struggle. However, their efforts are interrupted when Ima, an Egyptian queen, emerges and seizes Fang's remaining eggs as hostages. The soldiers capture Spear and the others, escorting them onto the ship. Mira is separated from the group and confined to a cell, while Spear and Fang are locked in their respective cells. Kamau appears and is placed in a confined cell. Spear and Fang gaze at him, but eventually succumb to fatigue and drift off to sleep. Upon waking up, Fang finds the soldiers attempting to restrain her. She retaliates by attacking them, but Ima intervenes, holding one of the eggs threateningly. Spear manages to calm Fang down, leading Ima to realize the potential of using Spear and Fang as her fighters. The soldiers transport Spear and Fang onto a ship, heading towards a battlefield. As the ship opens, Kamau and the soldiers disembark, leaving Spear and Fang to witness the ongoing war. Spear ascends a tower and eliminates the archers who are guarding the city. Fang assists the soldiers in breaching the city, and together they launch an assault, defeating and eliminating additional enemy soldiers. The king, filled with fear, appears before Spear and Fang, trembling at their imposing roars. Meanwhile, the chieftain, transformed into a formidable monster, emerges from the ground, manifesting a weapon from his hand as he practices his newfound powers. He proceeds to stride forward, effortlessly walking on water when he reaches a stream. The Egyptian soldiers pillage the city, and Ima arrives with Fang's eggs in her possession. Ima approaches the king, noticing his cheetah cub. Seizing the cub, she commands her men to execute the king. After that, Ima allowed Amal, who is Kamau's daughter and was held hostage with her, to get off the carriage and walk towards her father, causing Fang to growl in response as Ima stands near her eggs. Despite this tension, they are compelled to continue fighting in various wars. Spear, Fang, and Kamau enter a ship and immerse themselves in a pool, their bodies marked with wounds from the battles. They engage in further conflicts while Ima and her soldiers continue their looting spree across conquered kingdoms. While immersed in the pool, a sudden cannonball crashes through the wall, signaling an attack from another kingdom. Their king engages in battle alongside his soldiers, only to be taken aback as he witnesses Spear, Fang, and Kamau effortlessly overpowering his men. The Egyptians emerge victorious, defeating their adversaries and causing their ship to sink. That night, Spear finds himself lying in his cell, but something stirs within him, prompting him to rise with a troubled expression. Ima occupies her throne, entertained by her slaves, while her soldiers restrain the captive enemy king. One of the soldiers attempts to coerce Mira into dancing, but she defiantly refuses, causing the music to cease. Ima rises and the music resumes, as she performs a captivating dance in front of the king. With a swift kick, she propels him into the air, ending his life. Returning to her throne, Ima commands Mira to dance for her. The subsequent day, the Egyptians arrive at a peaceful kingdom, where its leader offers food to Ima. Observing her surroundings, Ima gazes upon the kneeling leader before dismissing him. Ima instructs Kamau to slaughter the people, an order that he adamantly refuses, instead collecting their offering. In response, Ima threatens to harm Amal, compelling Kamau to return to the leader and deliver a fatal blow. He proceeds to attack and kill the townspeople, prompting their screams and desperate attempts to flee. Spear and the others remain in their cells during the ensuing night, with Spear fixing his gaze upon Kamau. A soldier appears with meat, tossing it into the cells. Spear purposefully drops his portion outside the cell and incapacitates the guard as he approaches. Spear retrieves the key, unlocks his cell, and steps out. He proceeds to open Kamau's cell, but Kamau hesitates, refusing to leave. Spear ascends the staircase, reaching Ima's location. He observes Mira dancing and notices Fang's offspring adjacent to Ima. Mira catches sight of Spear, prompting a slave to emit a scream. Spear attempts to engage Ima in combat, but she employs her abilities to retaliate. Mira repossesses the eggs with Amal, and they endeavor to escape, but Ima pursues them. Spear incapacitates Ima and launches an assault on the soldiers. They traverse a downward staircase to make their escape, coinciding with the hatching of the eggs as Spear and Mira confront the soldiers. Mira is struck by Ima and has the baby dinosaurs forcibly taken from her. Upon hearing the dinosaurs, Fang liberates herself from confinement and assaults the soldiers. Aima brandishes a threat to slay the dinosaurs in Amal's presence, and Kamau emerges to witness the unfolding events. A colossal Egyptian vessel navigates through the ocean. Aima restrains the baby dinosaurs using chains, while Spear and the rest are likewise held captive by chains. Kamau positions himself before them, clutching an axe and receiving an order to execute them. Raising the axe, he readies himself to strike Fang, causing her to shut her eyes. Kamau gazes at Amal and reminisces about their time in their village. He intervenes to prevent her from slaying a spider and releases it, granting it freedom. The giant Africans represent a tranquil tribe, dwelling in harmonious coexistence. However, their peace is abruptly shattered as Aima and her soldiers launch an assault. Kamau secures Amal on his back and engages in combat, successfully dispatching the assailants. Swiftly, Aima seizes Amal from his shoulder and issues a deadly threat. He clutches the axe, employing it to liberate Fang, before hurling it at Aima with the intention to end her life. Aima skillfully evades the axe, prompting the baby dinosaurs to seek refuge with their mother. Spear dislodges the concrete slab attached to the chain and employs it as a weapon to confront the soldiers. Mira skillfully employs her feet to acquire a key and free herself, subsequently releasing Spear. Aima grows enraged as she rises to her feet. Hastily, Aima rushes towards an immense firearm and aims at Fang, yet the agile creature evades the attack. Aima then switches to a spear gun, but Spear intervenes, deflecting her shot. Spear retrieves a weapon and engages in a fierce battle with Aima. Meanwhile, Kamau flees with Amal, guided by her to a designated chamber. There he makes a startling revelation that his people are compelled to propel the ship using colossal paddles. Spear combats Aima, while Mira and Fang confront the soldiers. One of the baby dinosaurs is struck by an arrow, prompting Mira to seize it and leap off the ship. Following suit, Spear and Fang jump off as well, leaving Aima shrieking in fury. Multiple soldiers converge upon Kamau, but he effortlessly subdues them, rendering them incapacitated. His people observe his valiant fight and are inspired to join him in the battle for their freedom. Meanwhile, Spear and the others swim away as the colossal paddles advance towards them. Suddenly, the paddles halt their movement, and Kamau witnesses his people engaging in combat. Spear boards a small vessel, eliminating the remaining soldiers and liberating the enslaved individuals responsible for propelling the ship. Aima approaches the stairs, only to be confronted by the imposing giant Africans who launch an attack. Kamau confidently approaches her, undeterred by her attempts to resist. He effortlessly lifts her up, strides towards the ship's edge, and unceremoniously tosses her overboard, meeting her demise upon impact. Spear and Mira cast their gazes upwards and witness Kamau's contentment in the presence of his daughter. As night falls, Spear and Mira gaze at the sky while their ship sails away. Amal feeds Kamau, and they spot the chieftain in the distance. The chieftain walks upon the water's surface, continuing his search for Spear and Fang. A young Spear stands alongside his father, who begins painting on a wall. Suddenly, several saber-toothed tigers emerge, launching an attack on the people. Spear and his father valiantly battle the beasts, successfully eliminating them. However, the tigers injure Spear's father and sever his arm. Spear persists in fighting, but the tigers ultimately claim his father's life, devouring him. Consumed by rage, Spear engages in a fierce struggle, killing most of the tigers. He takes cover beneath a slain tiger, defending himself as another attacks. Utilizing a rock, he smashes the tiger's skull in a fit of fury. Finally, as his anger subsides, the townspeople present him with a necklace and proclaim him as their chief. Mira rouses Spear with excitement, pointing towards her homeland. They reach the shore, where Mira's gaze fixates on a tree, causing her tears to flow. Spear consoles her, and she recollects joyful memories of spending time with her friends and lover. However, their tranquility was disrupted when an unknown assailant appeared on their shores, launching a vicious attack. Mira was abducted, witnessing the tragic demise of her friend Amara and enduring the painful branding of her own head, marking her as a slave. Amidst a stormy sea, an axe descends before her. Seizing the opportunity, she severs the chain that binds her, plunges into the water, and makes her daring escape. Mira's tears persist, while Fang and her offspring disembark from the boat, the young ones gradually learning to swim. Spear and the rest traverse the land, arriving at a cavern by nightfall. Mira engages in her prayer, and Spear joins her in solemnity. With the arrival of dawn, Fang situates her offspring beside Spear and departs from the cave. She ventures out in search of sustenance, eventually encountering a woman bathing in a pond. Startled by Fang's presence, the woman emits a scream. Alerted by the sound, Mira and Spear hastily respond, rushing towards Fang's location. Mira intervenes, preventing Fang from attacking the woman, and to her astonishment, realizes that the woman is her long-lost friend Amara. Tears of joy flow as they embrace, finally reunited. Amara guides them to her hometown, and as Spear, Fang, and the baby dinosaurs enter the town, the townspeople are overcome with fear and trepidation. Mira steps forward, soothing their anxieties and reassuring them of their peaceful intentions. She meets with the chief, who in response to Mira's return, decrees a grand celebration to be held in her honor. As night falls, the townspeople gather around a crackling fire, eagerly observing a captivating performance. They bow in reverence as a figure dressed as the moon appears, gracefully dancing before them. Spear walks to Fang and the babies and sits with them. Mira leads them to an unoccupied structure, where Fang utilizes her strength to breach the walls. She settles down with her offspring beside her, finding solace in their presence, while Spear remains awake, his mind occupied with thoughts. In a moment of respite, he begins sketching on the walls, eventually succumbing to sleep. The following day, Mira enters the building and discovers the intricate drawings adorning the walls. She quietly observes Spear as he rests, feeling a sense of compassion for him. Spear sits attentively, his gaze fixated on Fang as she moves about. Suddenly, the townspeople erupt into screams as the chieftain arrives, prompting Spear to swiftly climb atop Fang and dash towards him. The chieftain assumes a menacing form, brandishing a weapon while unleashing a terrifying scream. The group frantically flees, but the chieftain undergoes a transformation, morphing into a serpentine creature and persistently pursuing them up a hill. Engulfing Spear in flames, the chieftain intends to vanquish him, but Spear summons his strength and pushes back, causing both of them to tumble down the hill. Mira rushes to Spear's side, extinguishing the flames that engulf his body. Suddenly, a malevolent entity emerges and drags the chieftain into the depths of the underworld. Seeking assistance, Mira implores others to aid them, and they transport Spear to the building. The witch doctor attends to Spear's wounds, but his injuries are severe, leading Fang to shed tears. Eventually, Fang and her offspring exit the room. As Spear mumbles Mira's name, she gazes at the drawings on the wall and has a realization. Spear harbors deep affection for her. In a moment of profound connection, Mira mounts Spear and engages in mating with him. Years pass, and Fang, accompanied by her offspring, roams about. Trailed closely by Mira, notably the daughter of Mira and Spear perches atop one of the young dinosaurs, wielding a spear and emitting a triumphant scream in tandem with the dinosaur's mighty roar. Thank you so much for watching. The fourth part has concluded, and we have now completed the Primal series. Don't forget to check out our other videos and consider subscribing. Also, remember to tap the bell icon to receive notifications about our latest uploads. We look forward to seeing you next time.